भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते सुतोस्तत्सुक्तम् आकर्ण्य सारम् सुकृतमिदम् मयमानैव प्रीत्या कुमारप्रत्युवाचः। मैत्रे उवाच ऋतोस्तत्सुक्तम् आकर्ण्य सारम् सुकृतमिदम् मधु मयमानैव प्रीत्या कुमारप्रत्युवाचः। मैत्रे उवाच ऋतोस्तत्सुक्तम् आकर्ण्य सारम् सुकृतमिदम् मधु मयमानैव प्रीत्या प्रत्युवाचः। Continue. Thus, Sanat Kumara, the best of the celebrates after hearing the speech of Puthu Maharaj, which was meaningful, appropriate, full of precise words, and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows. The great sage Maitreya continue. Thus, Sanat Kumara, the best of the celebrates after hearing the speech of Puthu Maharaj, which was meaningful, appropriate, full of precise words, and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows. Prabhupada, Puthu Maharaj talks before the Kumaras were very laudable because of so many qualifications. Speech should be composed of selected words, very sweet to hear, and appropriate to the situation. Such speech is called meaningful. All these beautiful qualifications are present in Puthu Maharaj's speech. Because he is a perfect devotee, it is said, Yasrasti Bhakti Bhagavati Apinchana Sarvail Gunai Sattva Samanastesva Buddho Mahabhudakavato Manorate Nastavato Vai. The one who has unflinching devotion faith is the supreme personality of Godhead and is engaged in his service, all good qualities become manifest. Thus, the Kumaras were very much pleased and Kumara began to speak as follows. And the quality of a pure devotee is association with healing and hearing from him, serving see the glories of the today being a class, the glories of the holy name and also the then we'll go further into this various examples. योगस्मृति उपपैति निर्जन वन ध्यानाद्व संभाविता स्वराज्यं प्रतिपद्य निर्भयम् अमी मुक्ता भवन्तु द्विजा अस्माकं तु कदम्ब कुंज कुहार प्रोन्मीला इंदीवर श्रेणी श्यामल धाम नाम जुषताम जन्मास्तु रक्षावधि. Let the twice born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga, Vedic study, and solitary meditation in the forest. Let them become liberated in that way. As far as us, we will spend hundreds of thousands of births chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, whose splendid dark complexion and yellow garments are like a host of blue lotus flowers becoming blooming in the grove of yellow flower bearing Kadamba trees. Mentioned by Sri Iswapuri, Master Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. कल्याणानां निदानं कलिमल मतनं पावनं पावनानां पातेयं यं मुमुक्षो सपदि परपद प्राप्तये प्रोच्यमानं विश्रामस्थानम् एकं कविवर वचसां जीवनं सज्जनानां बीजं धर्मद्रुमस्य प्रभवतु भवतां भूतये कृष्ण नाम. May Krishna's holy name, which is the reservoir of all transcendental happiness, the destruction of Kali Yuga, says the most purifying of all purifying things. The saintly person's food as he traverses the path to the spiritual world, the pleasure garden where the voices of the greatest saints, philosophers, and poets play the life of the righteous and the seed of the tree of religion bring transcendental auspiciousness to you all. वेपन्ते दुरितानि मोह महिमा सम्मोहम् आलम्बते सातङ्कं नक रञ्जनीं कलयति श्रीचित्रगुप्त कृति सानन्दं मधुपर्क संवृति विदौ वेदा करोति उद्यनम् वक्तुं नाम्नि तवेश आरभिलासिते ब्रूमा किम् अन्यत् परम्. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, when someone desires to chant your holy name, since tremble in fear, the glory of the material illusion fades unconscious. Yamaraja's scribe Chitragupta becomes happy and gazes at the chanter's two names with awe reverence, and Lord Brahma prepares Madhuparka to worship him. O Lord, what more can we say in this? That's one must take to this. Chanting the holy name of the Lord very seriously. किं परेत नगरी पुरंदर को भवे तदीय किंकर कृष्ण नाम जगदेक मंगलम कांतापीठम भुरति करोति चेत. Lord Krishna's holy name is the only auspiciousness in this world. If one keeps in his throat, then what is Yamaraj, the king of other world, to him? What are Yamaraj, the servants to him? निर्वापणं श्रेय कैरवचंद्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनंदाम्बुदिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता स्वादं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परम विजयते श्री कृष्ण संकीर्तनम्. Let it be all victory of chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. The chanting is the waxing moon and the spread of the white lotus of good fortune. For all living entity, it is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks. So, the instruction also from this verse we just read is also important that one must be attentive to the timing also. That's why Prabhupada named it as in the morning darshan. What is it called? Sringar darshan. What does it mean? When company CEO or any important personalities we have meeting with ministers or IT or wherever in the political situation, we 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 will be there and ahead of the time. Our doctor appointments, we will be there always ahead of the time. So that's Prabhupada called it darshan. Lord is giving his personal audience. When we are chanting also, Lord is giving his audience also. So we should be present physically in presence of mind, body, everything should be present. So before Sangha Arati comes, we should be there. Before service, we should be there. So timing is very, very important in that way. Lord wants to give His darshan. We are not taking His darshan, but Lord wants to see us. That's how important Prabhupada made it Sundar Darshan, 7 o'clock or 7:30 or 8 o'clock, depending on time. Most of the temples is 7 o'clock. So it's very, very important for us to at least once a week or whenever possible try to be there before Sundar Aarti, not ideally come late to take. Because Lord is wanting to see His devotees. It is very, very important. Chanting the holy name also, we should take it priority, the consistent time every day. We should personally try to be present while we are chanting. ब्रह्मानन्दानां कोटि साङ्ख्यादिकानाम् ऐश्वर्यं यच्चेतना वा यद् आविर्भूतं तन्मः कृष्णनाम तन्मे साध्यान् साधनं जीवनं च. The opulence or the knowledge of many millions of universes were clustered together, they would hardly equal a small fragment of the glories of Krishna's holy name. Krishna's holy name is my life. It is the goal of my life. It is the means I will employ to attain the goal of my life. Vishnu Namaiva Pumsa Samalam Aparat Punyam Utpadayach Brahmadistana Bhogad Virachitam Mata Guru Sri Pada Dvanda Bhaktim Tattva Jnanam Cha Vishnu Riha Bridi Jnana Bhranti Bijam Cha Jagva Sampurnananda Bodhe Mahati Cha Purusham Stapayitva Nivrittam. Lord Vishnu's holy name removes sin, establishes piety, makes one disinterested in an attempt to gain an exalted post like that of Lord Brahma, grants devotion for the lotus feet of spiritual master, brings transcendental knowledge of Lord Vishnu, burns the seed of repeated birth and death, and places the saintly devotee in complete awareness of perfect transcendental bliss. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigra Purna Suddho Nityavukto Abhinnatvan Namanamino. The holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benediction, but it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition, and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material quality, there is no question of it being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. That is Vyasadeva. मधुरम मधुरम एतम मंगलम मंगलानाम सकल निगम वल्ली सत्फलम चित स्वरूपम सकृत अपि परिगीतम श्रद्धया हेलया वा भृगुवर नर मात्रम तारयेत कृष्णना. Krishna's name is the sweetest of the sweet thing, the most auspicious of auspicious thing, the transcendental fruit of the wine of all Vedic literature. Oh, best of the Prabhus, chanted even once, either with faith or contempt, it delivers the chanter. Yes, they further. व्यवसितिरसु दीनयति एव लोकान् मोक्षापेक्ष जनयति जनं केवलं क्लेशभाजं योगाभ्यास परम विरसत् तादृशी किं प्रयासै सर्वं त्यक्त्वा मम तु रसना कृष्ण कृष्णेति रौतु. The attempt to attain the heavenly Swarga planets impoverishes the entire world. The desire to attain impersonal liberation brings only trouble. The regimen of yoga is dry and tasteless. What is the use of endeavors like these? I will abandon them all and simply make my tongue chant Krishna Krishna. Sada sarvatraste nanu vimalam madhyam tava padam tadapi ekam stokam nahi bhavataro patram abhinat क्षणं जिह्वाग्रस्तं तव तु भगवान् नाम निखिलं समूलं संसारं कसति कतरात् सेव्यं मनयो. O Lord, is your impersonal spiritual effulgence is not always present everywhere. Even so, it has not been able to break even a single small leaf from the tree of repeated birth and death. On the other hand, the moment of your holy name is taken by the tongue, it thoroughly shatters the tree of birth and death down to its roots. Of these two, the spiritual effulgence of the holy name, which should be served? Sridhar Swami, first commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. आकृष्टकृत चेतसां सुमनसां उच्चाटनं च अम्हसाम् आचण्डालम् अमोकलोक सुलभो वस्यश्च मुक्ति श्रिय नो दीक्षां न च सत्क्रियां न च पुरश्चर्यां मनागीक्षते मंत्रोऽयं रसना स्पृग एव फलति श्रीकृष्णनामात्मकः. The holy name of Lord Krishna is an attractive feature for many saintly liberated people. It is the annihilator of all sinful reaction. It is so powerful that save for the dumb, weak, who cannot chant it, It is readily available to everyone, including the lowest type of man, the Chandala. The holy name of Krishna is the control of the opulence of liberation, and it is identical with Krishna. Simply by touching the holy name with one's tongue, immediately effects are produced. Chanting the holy name does not depend on initiation. Pious activities are the proscharya regulative principles generally observed before initiation. The holy name does not wait for all these activities. It is self-sufficient. विधेयानि विचार्याणि विचिन्त्यानि पुनः पुनः कृपणस्य दानानिव त्वन्नामामि भवन्तु न. O Lord, just as a miser continually collects, counts, and remembers his money, in the same way, let us continually collect, count, and remember your holy names. That's why all six Goswamis also count. नाम्नामकारि बोधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशी हा जनिनानुराग. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, is your holy name. There is all good fortune for the living entity. Therefore, you have many names such as Krishna and Govinda by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in these names. There are no hard and fast rules for remembering them, my dear Lord. Although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy name, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. Trinadapi Sunichena Tororiva says Mamanina Manadena Kirtani Sadahari. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. That is a qualification, prerequisite. Sri Rameti Janardhaneti Jagatam Nateti Narayanaeti Anandeti Dayapareti Kamala कांतेति कृष्णेति च श्रीमान् नाम महामृताब्धि लहरी कल्लोलमग्नं मुहुर्मुह्यन्तं गलदश्रुनेत्रम् अपसां मां नाथ नित्यं कुरु. Sri Rama Janardhana Jagatam Nath, Master of the Universe, Narayana Ananda Dayapara, Merciful One, Kamalakanta, Husband of Lakshmi, Krishna. Lord, please make me become overwhelmed with tears streaming from my eyes as I repeatedly plunge into the waves of the great nectar ocean of these beautiful transcendental names. Sri Kanta Krishna Karunamaya Kunjanava Kaivalya Vallava Mukunda Mura Antaketi Namavalim Vimala Moktigahara Lakshmi Lavanya Vanchana Karim Karavani Kante, calling out, O Sri Kanta, husband of goddess of Padma, O Krishna, all attractive one, O Karunamaya, merciful one, O Kanjanava, whose navel is like lotus flower, O Kaivalya Vallava, O master of liberation, O Mukunda, giver of liberation, O Murantaka, killer of Mura demon, I will place upon my neck the Lord's holy names, which eclipse the beauty of splendid stand of pearls. कृष्ण राम मुकुंद वामन वासुदेव जगद्गुरो मत्स्य कच्छप नारसिंह वराह राघव पाहि माम देव दानव नारदादि मुनीन्द्र वंद्य दयानिधे देवकी सुत देहि मे तव पाद भक्तिम अचांचलाम. ओ कृष्ण, ओ बलराम, ओ मुकुंद, ओ वामन, ओ वासुदेव, ओ मास्टर ऑफ द यूनिवर्स, ओ मत्स्य, ओ कूर्म, ओ नरसिंह, ओ वराह, O Ramachandra, please protect me, O Lord, worshipped by the demigods, demons, and great sages who have Narada as their leader, ocean of mercy, O son of Devaki, please grant me unwavering devotion to your feet. हे गोपालक, हे कृपाजननिधे, हे सिंधु कन्यापते, हे कुसुमांतक, हे गजेंद्र करुणा परीन, हे माधव, हे रामानुज, हे जगत्त्रया गुरु, हे पुंडरीकाक्ष माम, हे गोपी जननाथ पालय परम जनामि ना त्वाम विना. O Gopalaka, covered by O Krupa Jalanidhi, ocean of mercy, O Sindhu Kanyapati, husband of Lakshmi, O Kamsantaka, O killer of Kamsa, O Gajendra Karuna Parinam, merciful savior of Gajendra, O Madhava, husband of Lakshmi, O Ramanuja, younger brother of Balarama, O Jagatraya Guru, master of the three worlds, O Pundarikaksha, lotus head one, O Gopi Jananatha, master of the Gopis, please protect me. I do not accept anyone as the supreme except for you. Now we'll go to the actual this verse, speaking the glories of the pure devotee and hearing and taking the valuable audience of the pure devotees of the Lord. Four Kumaras meeting with Pruth Maharaj, and how Pruth Maharaj very much attentive, submissive, and spoke very respectfully and very pleasantly speaking. And then we look at Nagada Munis and Krishna's examples and King Pururava's example, how much the association of pure devotees, the glories, how much we should be miss you and attended to the hearing. Tatran vaham Krishna katha pragayakam anugrahena asrinvan manoha ta sriddhayami anupadam visrunvata priya sravasya anga mama bhavadruchi. Oh, Vyasadeva, in that association by the mercy of those great Vedantis, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus, listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of God had increased step at every step. This is Narayana himself is explained to Vyasadeva. One can get spiritual success by turning his attention to the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. By hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead. As explained before, by hearing about the personality of Godhead from within, all accumulated sins of mundane creatures are cleared. Thus, being cleared of all sins, the hearer gradually becomes liberated from mundane association, becomes attracted to the features of the Lord. Narada has just explained that by personal experience, the whole idea is that simply by hearing about the Lord's pastimes, one can become one of the associates of the Lord. Narada has eternal life, unlimited knowledge, unfathomed bliss. He can travel all over the material and spiritual world without restriction. One can attain to the highest perfection of life simply by attentive hearing of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the right sources, as Sri Narada heard them from the pure devotee Bhakti Vedantis in his previous life. This process of hearing in the association of devotees is especially recommended in this age of Kali. So you can understand how much. Look at the Lord Krishna directly giving his own example in serving Sudama Vipra. There also important instruction Lord Krishna is giving. Lord Krishna seated his friend Sudama upon the bed. Then the Lord, who purifies the whole world, personally offered him various tokens of respect and washed his feet. O king, after which he sprinkled the water on his own head. He anointed him with a divinely fragrant sandalwood, aguru, kumkuma paste, and happily worshipped him with aromatic incense and array of lamps. After finally offering him betel nut and the gift of a cow, he welcomed him with pleasing words. Now we'll see how and he talks about a spiritual master. Both of them served. And he talks about that incident. Kuchailam malinam kshamam dvijam damani santatam devi parayachara saksha chamara vijanena vai. By fanning him with a chamara, the divine goddess of fortune personally served that poor brahmana whose clothing was torn and dirty and who was so thin that veins are visible all over his body. Rukmini Devi is serving chamar there. It is also tomorrow is Rukmini Dwadasi. Ekadasi and tomorrow is Rukmini Dwadasi. Very important day in that matter. So अना पुरजनो दृष्ट्वा कृष्णे न अमलकीर्तिना विस्मितो अबोधति प्रीत्या अवधूतं सभाजितम्. The people in the royal palace were astonished to see Krishna, the Lord of spotless glory, so lovingly honored this shabbily dressed Brahmana. किम् अनेन कृतं पुण्यम् अवधूतेन भिक्षुणा श्रिया हीनेन लोकेऽस्मिन् गर्हितेन अधमेन च यो असौ त्रिलोकगुरुणा श्रीनिवासेन संवृत पर्यङ्कस्तं श्रियं हित्वा परिस्वक्तो अग्रजो यथा. The residents of palace said, what pious act has this unkempt, impoverished Brahmana performed? People regard him as lowly and contemptible, yet the spiritual master of the three worlds, the abode of goddess of Sri, is serving him reverentially. Leaving the goddess of fortune sitting on her bed, the Lord has embraced this Brahmana as if he was an elder brother. Sukadeva Goswami taking each other's hands. Now Lord Krishna is speaking. O king, Krishna and Sudama talked pleasantly about how they once lived in the school of their guru. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Api Brahman Gurukulat Bhavata Labda Dakshina Samavrittena Dharmagna Bharyoda Sadrasina. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Brahmana, you know well that Veda's Dharma. After you offered the gift of remembrance to our Guru and returned home from his school, did you marry a compatible wife or not? Always, whenever we meet spiritual master, we should ideally serve with his body, mind, senses, with our wealth. We should give some gifts. If we don't have anything, we should give Lakshmi. Always, we should serve our best capacity. Among civilized human beings, the question of ashrama or spiritual order is significant. In other words, every human being must execute prescribed duties as a celibate student, married man or woman, retired person or renunciate. Since Lord Krishna could see that Brahmana was poorly dressed, he inquired if his friend has been properly married and was executing duties of household life. Since he was not dressed as a renunciate, he would be without a suitable ashrama unless he was properly married. Lord is asking these questions. अयो गृहेषु ते चित्तम् अकाम विहितं तथा नैवाति प्रियसे विद्वन् धनेषु विदितं हि मे. Even though you are mostly involved in household affairs, your mind is not affected by material desires. Now, Lord one, do you take much pleasure in pursuit of material wealth? This I am well aware of. Lord Krishna here reveals that in fact he was well aware of his friend's situation. Sudama was actually learned and spiritually advanced, therefore he was not interested in ordinary sense gratification as is the common man. Important instructions are coming up. केचित् कुर्वन्ति कर्माणि कामैरहत चेतसा त्यजना प्रकृति दैवी रेताहं लोक संग्रहम्. Having renounced all material propensities which sprung from the Lord's illusory energy, some people execute worldly duties with their minds undisturbed by mundane desires. They act so as I do. I instruct the general populace. Now he's talking about important instructions on the Guru. कचित् गुरुकुले वासं ब्रह्मन् स्मरसि नौ यथा द्विजो विघ्नाय विघ्नेयं तमसा पारमश्नुते. My dear Brahmana, do you remember how we lived together in our spiritual master school? When a twice born student has learned from his guru all that is to be learned, he can enjoy spiritual life which lies beyond all ignorance. That's why for Puthu Maharaj, taken to the highest level, how much important it is. He has given up everything, whatever appointment, whatever he may have, everything given, put aside. And for Kumar, personally present, his body, mind, senses, his time, everything. He is so attentive to the details. He has served with his full capacity. He didn't become greedy in any way. And so that's the one must serve and take to the highest level of being with the sadhu, spiritual master. सवै सत्कर्मणां साक्षात् विजातेरिह संभव आद्यो अंग यत्र अष्टमीनां यथाहं ज्ञानदो guru. My dear friend, he who gives his person his physical birth is his first spiritual master, and he who initiates him as a firstborn brahmana and engages him in religious duties indeed more directly is spiritual master. But the person who bestows transcendental knowledge upon the members of all spiritual orders of society is one's ultimate spiritual master. Indeed, he is as good as my own self. Lord Krishna himself is speaking about the spiritual master who gives the instruction, diksha and siksha, enlightens and gives the seed of the bhakti in the heart of the devotee and make him enlightened, elevate him, and take him back to Godhead. That's what Krishna himself is saying that is myself. I myself expand. Nano Artha Kovida Brahman Varnashtamaya Vatamya E Maya Guruna Vacha Taranti Agno Bhavarno. Certainly, O Brahmana, all of the followers of Varnashrama system, those who take advantage of words I speak in my form as a spiritual master, thus easily cross over the ocean of material existence, best understand their own true welfare. But one's father is naturally object of reverence as a religious leader who initiates one into sacred ceremonies and instructions one in general wisdom, but ultimately bona fide spiritual master, learned in the transcendental science and thus able to take one across the ocean of birth and death to spiritual master. Such Guru is most deserving of worship and respect, for he is the direct representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as stated here. So that's why Puthu Maharaj is taking the highest level of submission and offering everything, whatever he has. Naham Jia Prajatibhyam Tapas Upasamayena Tushesham Sarva Bodhatma Guru Shushru Shayayata. Very important point. I, the soul of all beings, am not satisfied by ritual worship, Brahmanical initiation, penances, or self discipline, as I am by faithful service rendered to one spiritual master. So that is the service with as a menial servant, serving with body, mind, senses, everything offering. So humble and so with so much submission for God. The word Prajati here indicates that either begetting good children or the second birth obtained by ritual initiation into Vedic culture. Although both of these are praiseworthy, Lord Krishna here says that the faithful service rendered to a bona fide spiritual master is still higher. So everything, all the Shastras is talking about this important point. Oh, Brahmana, do you remember what happened to us while we are living with our spiritual master? Once our Guru's wife sent us to fetch firewood, and after we entered the vast forest, oh, twice born one, an unseasonal storm arose with fierce wind and rain and harsh thunder. So Lord Krishna himself also has to, and Sudha Vipra has to go through the difficulty. So service is many times is not easy. We have to, so even if it is difficulty, we have to take to the highest level to serve with utmost attention. Thus, as the sun set, the forest was covered by darkness in every direction, and with all flooding, we could not distinguish highland and from low. Constantly besieged with powerful wind and rain, we lost our way. Amidst the flooding waters, we simply held each other's hand, and great distress wandered aimlessly about the forest. Sridhar Swami points out that Pari Babrima may be understood to be prefixed Pari with either verb. It indicates that Krishna and Sudama wandered all about, and the case of which means to carry. It indicates that two young boys wandered about. They continued to carry the firewood they had secured for their spiritual master. Very, even though it's a simple activity, but they have taken to the highest level. Our Guru Sandi Brahmani, understanding our predicament, set out after sunrise to search for us, his disciples, and found us in distress. Oh, my children, you have suffered so much for my sake. The body is most dear to every living creature, but you are so dedicated to me that you completely disregarded your own comfort. This is the most important point. Body is always giving pain, mind is always giving all kinds of things. But one who gives up bodily demands and mind's intelligence demand, gross body certificate demand, and submissively surrenders fully at the Lord's feet of spiritual master, like here Lord Krishna and Sudama did. That's it. His life is glorious, and he'll go back to Godhead in this life when one does that. That's why it's prominent. Sunday Moon is saying the body is most dear. Everybody's body is very dear. Even little pain comes, but we think 100 times what happened, why did this happen? Constant as an aspiration. But they have given up. Krishna and Sudam Vipra, because of Guru's instruction, they didn't care about themselves, what will happen to them. They have taken full shelter, full submission, full surrender. So that's why then Guru has sent his disciples. This indeed is the duty of all true disciples to repay the debt to their spiritual master by offering him with pure heart their wealth, even their very lives. Prabhupada looked at even what is it, Brahmananda Prabhu went, Gargamuni, both of them went to, they sent to Pakistan one time and Mayavad and answered, no, why not you speak here? In India, everybody is already Krishna conscious. He is in the stage, big Pandal program in Bombay. So, go and preach to Pakistan and other places. Prabhupada said, yes, we'll take that as a challenge. Prabhupada said, then immediately Brahman, Prabhu, and Gargamuni went to Pakistan to preach. At that time, war was going on, so many things were going on. It was not a proper situation. After the event, I think war started. So in a day or two, it was a very, very bad situation. But still, because taken the order of the spiritual master, Brahman Prabhu did his best. After a week or 2 weeks, it got even worse. They tried to, when they were trying to do Sankirtan, they were creating all kinds of problems. His lives are in danger. Other than after a few days, they came back and the Prabhupada was they sent Prabhupada sent a telegram. Prabhupada tried to contact them. So when they came back, then Prabhupada was so much you know distressed, so much is in anxiety because of thinking of his disciples, what happened and how they are, how they are in that situation. So Prabhupada gave his he was very pleased by their efforts and endeavors going to Pakistan and preaching, giving up their, very ready to give up their very life. They didn't care about what's going to happen, how we can do that. So this is uncomfortable situation. And imagine this is how one must serve utmost with utmost instruction of spiritual master, his audience, his time, his service. Anything has to be taken to the highest level of precedence. So that's the year one. Engage one's body to realize one's purpose as the body is also the basis of the material conception of I, while one's fortunate is the basis of conception of mind. Thus, by offering everything to the spiritual master, one realizes oneself to be an eternal servant of the Lord. The spiritual master does not exploit the disciple, but rather engages him fully in Krishna consciousness for the disciple's eternal benefit. Your boys are first class Brahmanas. I am satisfied with you. May all your desires be fulfilled, and may the Vedic mantras you have learned never lose their meaning for you in this world or the next. This is how, when the spiritual master is pleased with the disciple, that's it. His life is perfected. He will go back to the Iswarapuri. The Puri has given that blessing to Iswarapuri that you will always remember Krishna. After that, he's 24 by 7 is thinking. He is always chanting. That is what Guru's mercy, blessing when Guru is fully satisfied and gives his blessings to the disciple, that's it. His life is done. He will be perfected. He will become a pure devotee automatically. So that everything lies in the hands of Guru, and how we act, how much we are submissive, and how much we are trying to please. Here, Sandeep Muni is speaking, Krishna is relating this. Cooked food left sitting 3 hours is called yata yama, indicating that it has lost its taste. And similarly, if a devotee does not remain fixed in Krishna consciousness, the transcendental knowledge that once inspired him on the spiritual path will lose the taste or meaning for him. Thus, Sandeep Muni blesses his disciples that the Vedic mantras which reveal the absolute truth will never lose their meaning for them but will remain ever fresh in their minds. So that's why spiritual master's benediction has to be taken very seriously. Now, King Pururava's case, King Pururava is speaking himself in Canto 11. ततो दुस्संगम उत्सृज्य सस्तु सज्जेत बुद्धिमान शांतो एवास्य चिंतन्ति मनोव्यासन मुक्ति very prominent verses. An intelligent person should therefore reject all bad association and instead take up the association of saintly devotee whose words cut off the excessive attachment of one's mind. My devotees fix their minds on me and do not depend upon anything material. They are always peaceful, endowed with equal vision, and free from possessiveness, false ego, and duality and greed. Oh, greatly fortunate Uddhava. Lord Krishna himself is speaking to Uddhava about the glories of Pururava. Oh, greatly fortunate Uddhava. In the association of such saintly devotees, there is constant discussion of me, and those partaking of this chanting and hearing of my glories are certainly purified of all sins. Important purport. Prabhupada is writing 2 lines, but very, very important. Even if one does not receive direct instruction from a pure devotee, see that point. Even if one does not receive direct instruction from pure devotee, simply by hearing him glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can be purified of all sinful reaction caused by one's involvement in illusion. We think sometimes we get morose, oh, I'm not receiving any instruction from spiritual master. But here you can take this word of the Prabhupada simply by hearing. So even though you might be speaking the same thing, you are not the body or the soul, he is speaking about chanting, he is speaking about hearing. But simply hearing the any word coming from the mouth or lotus mouth of the spiritual master is of the utmost importance. By that submissiveness, by the attitude of pleasing, by hearing and following his instruction, that's it. That our life purified of all sinful reaction by simply hearing from him. So that's how much important Prabhupada is talking about here. Whoever hears, chants, respectfully takes to the heart these topics about me, becomes faithfully dedicated to me, and thus achieves my devotion service. ये शृण्वन्ति अगायन्ति हि अनुमोदन्ति च अद्रुता मत्परा श्रद्धादानश्च भक्तिं विन्दन्ति te मयि. One who hears from advanced devotees of Lord Krishna can be saved from the ocean of material existence. When one obeys the order of bona fide spiritual master, that polluted workings of the mind are checked. One sees things in a new spiritual light, and there blossoms the propensity for selfless, loving service to the Lord, which gives the fruit of love of Godhead. What else? What else we need? What we have to do every day. With this last verse, we'll stop. Bhaktim labdavata sadho kim anyad avasishyate mayi ananta gune brahmani ananda anubhava atmani. What more remains to be accomplished for a perfect devotee after achieving devotion service unto me? The supreme absolute truth, whose qualities are innumerable, and who am the embodiment of all ecstatic experience. Devotion service to purport with Prabhupada. Devotion service to Lord Krishna is so pleasing that a pure devotee cannot desire anything except service to the Lord. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna told the gopis that they would have to accept their own service as the ultimate reward of their devotion to Him, since nothing awards as much happiness and knowledge as devotion service itself. When one sincerely chants and hears the holy name and fame of Lord Krishna, the heart is purified and gradually one can appreciate the actual blissful nature of Krishna consciousness and loving service to the Lord. So that's why here Puthu Maharaj has taken to the highest level, so submissive, so pleasing, very mildly, gently speaking, carefully each and every word, glorifying Puthu Maharaj by his service, by using his body, mind, words, everything. This way one can perfect